Hi.
Welcome back to Glenn's Hot Rod Garage. It's a little cold outside today, but it's plenty warm inside the shop. Let's see what we can get into. Thanks for watching. I don't even want to talk about this stuff. It's getting too, where'd you put the tape?
On the bed.
So, we're back working on the Fine Dime S-10 today. I've noticed the fuel pressure's down to like 4 pounds, and that's not nearly enough for a Holley carburetor. It should be at like 6 or 6.5 at least. Maybe more if you got some high flow needle and seats in there. I'm not a carburetor expert, but I know enough to get me in trouble anyways. I picked up a different Mr. Gasket fuel pressure gauge to replace the one that's on there, and that's the first thing I'm going to do to troubleshoot this and see if the gauge is not off. Also, I noticed the float levels are a little bit on the low side, so I'm going to adjust them up and see if we can make an improvement on this. I'm going to switch you guys over to time lapse and start getting with it, and we'll go from there. So we swapped out the old gauge for this Mr. Gasket gauge. I tried to start a time lapse of that, and unfortunately I did not capture that, but it's not a big deal because you were looking from on top of my toolbox anyways. So I'm gonna fire this fuel pump back up, and we'll see what the fuel pressure gauge says. Jeez, learn how to talk. I just disconnected the battery because it's easier than going back and forth into the car. Not much different. It's a little unstable. I don't know what's up with that. So I guess I'm gonna raise the float level and we'll see what that does. I don't think it's gonna do anything, to be honest with you. So to adjust the float level on a Holley carb, the screw is the lock, the nut is the adjustment. So I'm gonna break the lock screw loose. Counterclockwise raises the float level, and clockwise lowers it. So I'm gonna take this loose, which I already did, and raise the float level a full turn. I'm going to do the same thing on the back. That was 4 quarter turns. So we're gonna tighten this down. Just snug in case we have to do it again. And we're gonna go hook the fuel pump back up and see what progress we have made. You can see the lines there, that the float's perfectly in line with these lines here, so we should be good to go there. The back's still a little low. I'd probably want to go another quarter turn or so. One of the problems with doing this is when it's not running is the carb's not consuming fuel. So I got the levels a little bit higher than they should be, and then I turned them back down a little bit. Hopefully they stabilize once I get the car fired up. We'll see you in a second. So, got the float levels adjusted reasonably well, and I noticed the fuel pressure got lower. Previously, I had drained the fuel tank and cleaned out the fuel filters and put that stuff back together, and after that, it seemed like there was some crap in the carb, so I took that apart and fixed that up, and now I'm gonna drain the fuel and see if we can't find some other kind of blockage. If not, I think my fuel pump's taking a crap. Sucks it doesn't have that many miles on it, and I paid a decent amount of money for it, so I don't know. I'm gonna look into this stuff, and I'll get back to you guys and let you know what's up. Doesn't seem like I got a whole heck of a lot of fuel coming out of here. You can see that. Probably not, because at least this is in the way. I mean, it's coming out, but it's not in the right home belt. Shit. That wasn't a smart idea. This is why you practice safety in the shop. Should at least have a fire extinguisher around and maybe a backup bucket. We were pretty close to running out. I wanna filter this gas out and see if there's any contaminants in it. It looks like it's okay. The gas looks pretty clear, so I'm just gonna take this fine micron paint filter and filter this gas through it. I would use a spout, but you gotta hold it in, so this isn't working very well at all. There we go. Much better. Still dripping a little bit, but absolutely no contaminants whatsoever. This should be pretty close to being out because I know I didn't put more gas in there than that gas can holds, and I'm pretty certain it was completely emptied when I put this gas in here. So, because I had the fuel system apart to clean out the fuel filters, or I've replaced one and cleaned out the other one. Good to the last drop. All right, I'm gonna get this off here. This could make a bunch of fun if it were to spill. So I'll get back to you once I figure out what's going on here. Thanks. So I'm gonna take these fuel lines off and see if there's some kind of restriction in there. I already cracked that loose before I went and got the camera and the hand wrench. That's nothing, absolutely nothing came out of there. Is it empty? I have two number 8 lines feeding a Y block with 2 filters that go into the Carter Street strip pump. It might just be a street pump. I didn't think I needed anything super fancy for this, because it's just a 400 horse 350. I would use a mechanical fuel pump because they don't make noise, but as luck would have it, this block does not have provision for a mechanical fuel pump. So, electric it is. I don't believe I have a fuel pump relay on this. I might. It's been a long time since I built this thing, so I might upgrade to a better fuel pump and put a relay in the system. So this is the fuel pump. I cleaned it out. There was a bunch of gelled up fuel in here. Not a super bunch, but enough in here to cause possibly some blockage. I'm just trying to make do with what I got for now. We're gonna put it back on and see. If this doesn't fix it, I'm gonna have to replace the pump. There's no way around it. So the fuel comes in from this side here, and it goes through a hole in here, and these little pieces of metal sling out and scoop the fuel through there. This piece here spins on the motor shaft, and it oscillates to keep these paddles, or we call them vanes, swiping the fuel through there and providing fuel to your engine. So I took this all apart and cleaned it up. We're going to put it back together. There's this cover goes on there. There's a fine micron screen in there that caught, it was gelled up cheap Obama fuel, we'll call it. And there's a little rubber diaphragm that goes on here. Like so. There's a little stuff there. Make sure you get the screw holes lined up properly so it doesn't catch them while you're trying to put the cover on. Then it gets these screws, bolts, sorry. They have a lock washer and a standoff on them that bolts the fuel pump to its mounting bracket. I'm going to put all this stuff back together and show it to you when I'm done. I'm not going to miss nothing here. This is the fuel pump in the Summit catalog. It says CRT-4600 HP. It should be from 4.5 to 8 PSI with a 1/2-inch hose. So that's exactly how I have this set up. This doesn't have this doesn't require a fuel pressure regulator. And I did that for ease of plumbing in the vehicle. Somewhere I have a 7/16 wrench. Now, if this doesn't work, I'm not going to say that Carter has a bad product, because when I was putting the rent in the car, car fell off the jack when we were pulling it back into the garage one day, and the fuel pump hit the ground. It bent the bracket that it's on, and it's quite possible that it somehow could have messed this up. Also, I left the car outside for some time, and water got into the fuel cell, and I plugged up the filter several times, and there was junk in there. So hopefully this fixes it, but we'll see in a couple minutes. Now, if I'm gonna put it back in, expecting it to work. It wasn't that hard to take out, but if it's still an issue, I'm gonna run direct battery power to it and see if that changes how it works at all, to eliminate possible wiring issue to cause the problems that we're seeing. See you in the next clip. So these are the fuel filters. I recently took these apart and cleaned them up and replaced one of the elements because it was dirty. You can still see it's pretty damn clean. Let's look at this one. This is the new one. The other one was replaced previously. Alrighty, we're gonna put these back in and juice this up with some fuel and see what kind of fuel pressure we got. I'll get back with you. So I got her all back together, and it was still at 3.5 pounds. So I came to the back of the truck and wired the fuel pump directly up with 10 gauge wire, and it increased the fuel pressure all the way from 3.5 to 5.5, which not ideal. It should be 6 or a little bit more, but maybe when the battery is fully charged, it'll be better. But we got her fixed, and now we can move on to the next steps. Hey, if you made it all the way to this point, please subscribe to my channel. I really could use your viewership. Hit the notification bell, like a video here and there. Go back and watch some old stuff. I got some old videos that you might like. But anyways, we'll catch you next time on Glenn's Hot Rod Garage. Peace.